But if you talk about me, I'll cut it 3. I'll never fight another fella tough as Doug Jones, not even that big ugly bear, Sonny Liston.
Is he your next fight?
Well, after I annihilate this Henrique, I want that bear.
And what's going to happen to him?
Bear.
What's going to happen to him?
He might be great, but he'll fall in 8. I'm the prettiest fighter in the ring today. That's my label. I want you quiet. I'm too fast. Lombard. No special training. Just see the fight. I'm ready to back up everything I'm saying, and I'm through talking.
The man to beat me, he haven't been born yet. Well, I'll tell Henrique if he's watching this show to come to the fight and be ready to fight. Because I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to London to get you. And after I'm through beating him, I think he'll have to join the Beatles and be a singer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fight Rant Live. I believe this is episode 14. And we are here Saturday morning, June 4th. And definitely got to start this off talking about Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. Franklin's here with me. GI is away on vacation, right now. Franklin, you want to say something? Start it off a little bit.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day. There's really no other way to start it off. We have to talk about this. I mean, this is not just for boxing. I mean, it's pretty much He's been a worldwide icon, a legend. He stood for all the racial things going on back then, the politics, religious freedom, just everything, man. He's influential dude, man. Like, had to rock his T-shirt today. Don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion. One of his famous quotes. It's just sad, man. The whole combat sports world, from boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, everybody is just grieving. The greatest, man. The greatest.
Without a doubt. I mean, the crazy thing is there's nobody since Ali, and probably won't ever be, that was as influential as Muhammad Ali across all platforms. I mean, this man was a boxer, but that's not even close to what he was. I mean, he transcended the world. I mean, everywhere he went. I mean, from politics, everybody, you know, it was just it was crazy. He's a guy that comes from an era and started something that will probably never be done. I mean, you look at what these athletes do today on Twitter and just talking in the media. It's not even, you know, of course, you know, Ali was the original trash talker when it came to boxing, but I mean, the man went to jail and lost his licensing and did it for a belief that he stood in.
The prime of his career.
In the prime of his career, I mean, and fought for civil rights. I mean, he just an amazing man all around. Forget about just boxing. Of course, he was the greatest, but he was the greatest because of far more than just boxing. You know, there's no words to explain what the world really lost. It's not even just the combat sports world, it's the whole world. I mean, everybody knew who Muhammad Ali was. You know, some people didn't like his trash talking too much, but
he's the best at it.
He was the best at it. You know,
even when you look now at the guys now, man, people. If you're not really into the combat sports world, if you don't go back and watch film and stuff, you'll forget how good he was at the mental war games.
Yeah.
Just mentally breaking you down before you guys even got into the ring. I just want to touch on this note here because I trying to remember him on some of the intense stuff he did. There was one time Sonny Liston was he was so tired of being just freaking hammered by Ali. He pulled out a gun. It had blanks though. And I guess he was ready for it because Ali would pull up to his house shouting at him like a madman in the morning. Yo, Ali is something else, man. And nobody beats him in the trash talking department. He knew. Oh man, the mental war games were insane. And Liston pulled out the gun and shot the blank. Bang, bang, bang. And everybody ducked that. He couldn't take it anymore. Ali was something else, man.
He was, man.
And it's like everybody knew. I would see pictures and videos of him, and you kind of knew the time was coming, and you knew it was near. And it still didn't prepare you for this. Once it happened, I was like, oh man, it's not good, man.
It's crazy.
But I mean, he's not.
I mean,
I guess he's not suffering anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He hasn't looked so great the last couple years, and I'm sure he wasn't doing too great. He stopped giving any kind of public speaking, anything like that. So the champ lives forever, man. That's all I can say.
And you know what? Let's just to get in some fun talk before we carry on to the main card today that we're going to talk about. He was a fighter. I saw him doing well in any kind of combat sports that he would have picked up. Seriously.
Oh man, if he trained for any combat sport, I think he would have been amazing at any of them, man.
Yeah, kickboxing, MMA, he would have been insane, man. Just his footwork. Dominick Cruz uses his footwork. T.J. Dillashaw uses his footwork. Bruce Lee, when he enhanced his martial arts, he locked himself down studying Muhammad Ali in one of his like black rooms and stuff. He would just turn everything off and just study Muhammad Ali, playing backwards and forward. And that's when you start seeing Bruce Lee's footwork and all that, and a little jumping and stuff, switching stances. It all came from Ali. He was a special individual. I just saw him. Just looking at him, his work ethic, though, his freaking mentality, he would have been great at any combat sports, man.
Yeah.
Just want to do a little fun talk out there, just thinking about everything, man, that man did. I've watched so many of his fights in black and white. Man, rest in peace, man.
Yeah, rest in peace to the champ. And, prayers and stuff go out to his family. It's a sad day for the world, but at the same time, everybody should remember his life and the way it was and everything he stood for, because he was a man greater than the sport of boxing, greater than all combat sports. He stood for so many things, and he is an evolution of mankind where his greatness just transcended everywhere. So rest in peace to Muhammad Ali. Bless the champ. Bless his family, and I'll leave it at that for that subject right now.
He would have wanted everybody most likely be upbeat. Yeah, when you knew Muhammad Ali before, he was suffering from what he was suffering from. He was an upbeat guy. I don't think he wanted everybody sad, but pretty much just you probably want a celebration.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna end up happening. Everybody's a little bit shocked right now, but there'll be a celebration of Ali's life, and that's the way it should be, man. Because that man had one of the most amazing lives, careers, everything. I mean, it was just, he did so much for so many people. Whether it was just the young kid dreaming of being a boxer, or it's so hard to even
I'll tell you this much: every gym out there, does not matter what kind of gym it is, as long as it's combat sports, it's rare for you to see a gym without one of his posters up, or one of his quotes, one of his saying. It's rare for you to see a gym without one of his posters up, or one of his quotes, one of his saying. It's rare for you to see a gym without one of his posters up, or one of his quotes, one of his saying. It's rare for you to see a gym without one of his posters up, or one of his quotes, one of his saying. He hits pretty much everybody in combat sports, especially. They idolize the man.
Yeah.
He's just say the truth. He's gonna live on forever, and that's I guess that's a corny saying, but right here it applies literally.
Yeah.
He will live on forever.
Absolutely. I mean, and he deserves to do so. One of the greatest human beings I've ever seen. So
rest in peace, the GOAT.
Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about this upcoming card, man.
Yeah.
Let's keep it. Let's turn up the notch here and get a little. It's not UFC 199.
Yeah, UFC 199.
Rockhold versus Bisping 2. Online prelims start at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:15 p.m. Pacific Time. Fox Sports 1 prelims, they start at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and the main card, the pay-per-view card, starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Good card, very good card. Pretty stacked, actually.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah, it hurt it a little bit that it's not Weidman there. It hurt it. It's probably gonna hurt the buy rates also somewhat, but it's still a great card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
We get to go toe to toe on picks.
Yeah, let's get.
We don't have any GI throwing monkey wrenches in there.
Who won the last one? Who won the last one?
You did.
I won it, right?
You won the last one, yeah.
And for all of our DraftKings players, fans,
you ended up 9-3 on the last one, and I fell back 8-4. You beat me by 1.
I know my stuff, man. All right, so our listeners, DraftKings that play, especially the play DraftKings, listen up. First fight. This is the Fox. This is in the early prelims on Fight Pass. We have Polo Reyes, 6-3 from Mexico versus Hyun Kim, 13-7-3 from South Korea. This is pretty evenly matched up. It's a kind of hard one to pick here.
Yeah, I agree. I would not play this fight on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Although I do believe that it's gonna end early, but it's so hard. I mean, to pick who's gonna actually end it.
I don't know if it's gonna be early. I have Marco Polo's taking it. For whatever reason, I just have second round knockout or TKO. I'm not sure why. That's just I saw the fight, and that's just what I saw. But that's gonna be my pick on that one there.
Yeah.
I see a second round knockout stoppage. Have no idea why. Like I said, but I looked at that matchup and I said, I have a feeling this is gonna happen. That's my pick there. What's your pick on that one?
It is really tough, man. I think for me, I'm probably gonna wind up saying that. Oh man, I think I'm gonna go with Hyun Kim, also by second round stoppage. So I'm just gonna flop the pick there from you. But like I said, I would avoid this fight on DraftKings, man, because it's
go either way.
It can really go either way. That's all I would say. So I don't think it goes the distance. We kind of agree on that. But as far as the winner, I wouldn't feel confident putting one of those guys in unless I'm doing it on the same card where the 4 other guys that I really like are the same, and then I flop those 2 maybe, That's about it.
Next fight up for the early Fight Pass prelims, Kevin Casey, 9-4, USA, versus Elvis Mutapcic. He's from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Kevin Casey, 9-4. Elvis Mutapcic is 15-4. I have Kevin taking this third round decision. Uses grappling. His striking has gotten better. I just don't see. I don't see any finishes here. Like I just don't see any finishes here. 3 rounds decision for Kevin Casey. What's your pick there, Lee? What's your pick there, Lee? Huh?
I got 3 rounds decision for Elvis Mutapcic.
Oh, you're going with Elvis.
Yep.
Oh, so okay. All right, so we got different picks. This 2 in a row now. All right, so moving on. Next fight. Jonathan Wilson, 7-0. Versus Henrique da Silva, 10-0. Jonathan Wilson, USA. Henrique da Silva, Brazil. This is a good one.
Yeah.
This
Good
is
fight.
a good one, huh? I'm rolling with Henrique da Silva on this one here. And I just call it. I call it. He finishes in the second round. I don't know if it's going to be a TKO or submission. It's going to be either one, but that's just how I see it going with this one here. Jonathan, he is tough. I believe I've seen about 2 of his fights. He's tough. Henrique is also.
Well,
I see a second round stoppage. He wins. Henrique wins. Like I said, it can be either TKO or submission, but he gets in the second round.
one of us is gonna have a really good day, and one of us is gonna have a really bad day. So I got Jonathan Wilson, also by second round knockout.
Okay. Wow. So we've been opposite of both. Okay. All right. Next fight up, Sean Strickland, 17-1 USA versus Tom Breese, 10-0 United Kingdom. I haven't seen too much of Tom. And what I did see, I mean, he was decent. I've seen Sean Strickland.
Yeah, I've seen Strickland more than I've seen Breeze, but I have seen Breeze as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of him. From what I've seen, I got Strickland taking this first round knockout.
You know, I'm actually gonna go with you and say Strickland here. So we're gonna get the first pick the same.
What are you calling?
I think it's gonna be probably yeah. I'd go with second round knockout too. Actually, I think.
I have first round knockout though.
But this is. Oh, you said first round? I'm gonna say second round. I think Breeze will figure out a way to make it out of the first. This is definitely a one though. I wouldn't pick this fight. It's very evenly matched, and I think that you'll have a decent shot of Breeze possibly winning the fight too. But I feel like Strickland will win. So, if you're playing this on DraftKings, I stay away from this one. That's just me. So the first one, I'd stay away from Kim and Reyes, and I'd stay away from Strickland and Breeze if at all possible. I'd avoid picking any of the fighters from those 2 fights on DraftKings.
Tough ones. These are all 4 of these first ones are pretty tough here.
They are. I mean, I actually feel the best about Wilson winning. If I had to pick a guy from the early prelims, the Casey and Mutapcic fight, I also feel could kind of go either way. So, I wouldn't want to play that one either, really. But if I had to pick one guy from the early prelims that I definitely would throw in, it would be Wilson.
Yeah, these are pretty evenly matched up guys here.
Yeah, they all are. I mean, but I'm just saying that, if I had to pick one, I'd go Wilson as the one guy from the Fight Pass early prelims that I would roll with.
Okay. All right, next fight coming up. Cole Miller, 21-9, USA, versus Alex Caceres, 11-8, USA. Alex, I've been following his career for a while now. Even when he was fighting for Dada 5000 in the streets. I just haven't really seen improvement from him. He's off and on, off and on, off and on. He's not consistent. I see Cole Miller. I see Cole Miller finishing him in the second round. He's tough to put away, but I actually see Cole Miller finishing this in the second round. Either via TKO, KO. But that's how I'm seeing that fight there. What's your pick?
I got Cole Miller in the second round also, but by submission.
Submission?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
We're getting a little more in line here.
All right. So next fight, this will be a good one. She's been gone for a while now. I believe over a year since JJ busted her ass. Oh my God. Jessica Penne, 12-4, USA versus Jessica Andrade, 13-5, Brazil. She's tough. She's tough as nails, Jessica. And that's Jessica versus Jessica.
Yep. Jessica versus
Andrade,
Jessica.
she's tough, man. And Penne is tough also.
Yeah.
She came back even prettier now. So since JJ gave her the nose job. This is a tough one though. Man, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I hate these. And Jessica's nice, man. It's pretty hard to look nice against JJ. I mean, she's a multi-time freaking Muay Thai champion. Striking is insane, but Jessica is she's legit striking and grappling. She's just legit all around.
You got to stop saying Jessica. Because nobody's going to know you're talking about.
Jessica Penne,
we got to call it Penne and Andrade.
And then Andrade is also nice. She's game. I'm rolling with Jessica, though. I think she has something to prove.
He said I'm rolling with Jessica.
Penne. I'm rolling with her. I think she has something to prove. She's been gone for a year, I think, over a year. She feels she has something to prove, and she's been saying how she's improved. Her all-around games has been improved. She's been improving. She's been training this whole time. I see her looking just crisp. Everything pretty much polished up in regards to striking and takedowns, and I see her getting this. I call it a 3-round decision, though.
You know, I agree with you. It's a really tough fight, and I'm gonna go with Penne too. But I kind of have that like funny feeling to some degree that Andrade might pull it off. But
yeah, I mean it can very easily happen. She's tough as heck, man.
She is. I mean,
she
but
fights ferociously.
I think if Penne comes back in top form, you know, after this time off, I think that she'll win the fight. I'm also gonna roll with Penne by decision.
Decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's still a tough one. The battle of the Jessicas, huh?
Yep. So, guys, DraftKings, that's when you see all the Jessicas, we're telling you Jessica Penne is the one to pick. I wouldn't be too crazy, you know, it wouldn't be too crazy to throw a couple of cards in if you're playing multiple cards with Andrade, though, because it's a close fight. She could pull it off.
Yeah, seriously speaking, I'm just looking at this whole card. Everybody that plays DraftKings, it'd be smart for you to have a couple of lineups.
Absolutely.
This whole fight card, man, just like they're so evenly matched. Just look at this next matchup: Beneil Dariush, 12-2, Iran versus James Vick, 9-0, USA. Damn, man, this is another evenly matched up. It's gonna be a hard one to pick.
Yeah.
Man. Man, Dariush is no joke, man.
It's a tough one. It's definitely tough.
Yeah,
man.
It's a tough one, man.
I mean,
I'm a roll with James Vick here.
Yeah.
I think he uses boxing, striking, keeps his distance. He does get caught. His defense is not all there. That's what scares me. And Dariush is no joke.
Yep.
But I'm gonna call it James Vick second round knockout. finishes him in the second round?
For me, I look at this fight as James Vick seems to be, to me, technically a little bit more sound when it comes to striking. He's got the longer reach. He's got a height advantage. He's even got longer leg reach. But he lands more shots per minute, you know, in his fights.
Yeah.
He has all of the advantages. However, when you look at the quality level of opposition between the two fighters, Dariush has certainly fought the better opponents, and statistically he's close to Vick while fighting better opponents. So this fight really boils down to, is Vick on that level where he belongs in a top 10 type discussion? That's what it boils down to. This is the fight that's going to either prove that or not prove that for him at the moment. You know, is he ready to be on that level? So,
and Dariush has good defense too, man.
yes,
He's
yeah.
solid.
I mean,
He's a solid fighter.
I'm gonna go here with, I'm gonna say that James Vick is the real deal, and that he belongs in that level, and he proves it by losing a 3-round decision to Dariush. Dariush wins by decision.
You have Dariush winning this in a three-round decision? Okay.
By decision, yeah.
All right.
I think he proves he's tough as nails. He takes it the distance. It's a good fight, but he loses 2 rounds to 1. Just off the experience factor and the fact that Dariush has been in with better quality opponents than Vick.
Can't really argue with you there. It's a tough one anyways. Next fight, another tough one really. We have Brian Ortega 10-0 USA versus Clay Guida 32-13 USA. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I have Brian Ortega winning this one. I think second round stoppage. That's just how I'm seeing this one go. But
yeah,
Clay Guida is tough as heck, man.
He is.
Like, this could easily, Clay Guida could easily overwhelm him and just do that grinding work, just clinching him, keeping him up against the cage, and just pot shot and just getting dirty boxing shots in, and you know that just overwhelming style that Clay Guida uses. I could easily see him do that.
Yeah.
But I'm rolling with Brian Ortega stoppage second round.
I got
I've seen
Brian
a lot
Ortega
of both
also.
of these guys. I just think the matchup, the way it matches up, I just see Brian Ortega do
Listen,
it.
I like Clay Guida a lot. Tons of respect for the dude. He's a warrior. But I got to roll with Ortega too. I'm gonna say Ortega wins by 3rd round submission.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tough. That's a tough one, man. Clay is game. He comes to fight. Another good one, man.
Yep.
Look at this.
This one.
Dustin Poirier, 19-4, USA. Bobby Green, 23-6, USA. Dustin Poirier, ever since he left the 145 division, he stopped cutting all that weight. He went back to 155. He's looked even better. He hasn't lost.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost since losing to McGregor. You know Dustin's legit. His striking's legit. His whole MMA game is legit. He's been a top 10, top 5 fighter almost. When he fought McGregor, he's ranked number 5. He's ranked 5 in bantamweight. He's always been legit, man. And then Bobby Green,
Bobby Green's a bad man, dude.
He's tough. He's a madman.
He's a bad man.
He's been going for a little while. He's back, coming back now, so he has something to prove. Man, this is a tough one. I'm rolling with Dustin. Second round knockout.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll with Dustin also. I'm gonna say Dustin wins second round knockout as well. I think Bobby's gonna make it a real entertaining fight for the first round and into the second round, coming out wild madman, just trying to get him, you know. But I think Dustin, because he's so well rounded, he'll weather that early storm and knock Bobby Green out in the second round.
Should be a good one. It's gonna be fireworks while it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for that one, big time. I want to see that. It should be a good fight.
This is yo. I'm talking about this damn card, and I'm going through.
You're going through, right? You're going through each fight, and you're like, oh man.
I can't freaking wait for tonight. Seriously. Yeah, the next fight. Dan Henderson, 34-14, freaking from USA. Everybody knows him, the legend.
Yep.
Versus Hector Lombard, 34-5.
Great fight.
And 1 from Cuba. 2 Olympians, Roman Greco wrestling Olympian, Dan Hendo, versus a judo Olympian, Hector Lombard. 2 freaking savages. How do you call this, huh? But the thing is, I can't go against Hendo, man. I just can't. I think an H-bomb lands in the first round, and Hendo gets it done. That's how I'm calling it.
All right, well,
Hector Lombard is a freaking beast.
Yep.
Beast.
And
he had a heck of a last fight versus Neil Magny. The ref could have stopped him in the first round and given it to him. Second round, then Magny made a comeback, and then Magny was just oh my god, destroying him in the third. It was crazy, but it was pretty much because Hector Lombard gassed himself out, and everybody thought, man, they could have easily stopped him in the first round, and it would have been a Hector Lombard win. So this is no way me shitting on Hector Lombard or anything like that. Dude is legit as they come. Man, I can't go against Hendo, man. The legend. First round, H-bomb. And Hector Lombard is out.
Listen,
that's how I'm calling it.
Hendo is a legend. You know, Hendo is definitely a legend, man. And with all due respect to the legend, Hector Lombard wins by first round knockout.
No.
Yep, that's how I'm calling it. Hector Lombard, first round KO on Henderson.
Hendo. He doesn't. Hendo.
I just see him landing.
He doesn't eat it, Hendo.
I know. I just, that's how I feel about it though. I just see Lombard landing a big bomb, stunning him. You know,
before he lands his.
Listen, it's a close fight. Hendo could land one too. You know,
crazy that you're saying that.
Huh?
And I actually see it that way though. I see Lombard like cracking him, bow, and you see how Hendo. He gets cracked, and that's when he lands his H-bomb.
Yep.
That's what I see happening, though.
It's possible, you know, but I don't know. From what I see of Lombard when he lands those bombs, man, I don't know if Hendo can take that anymore. It's
at his age.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I can give you that. I'm still rolling with Hendo. Hendo first round H-bomb.
All right. There you go, folks. We both got first round finishes on opposite sides.
And then Lee has Lombard, Hector Lombard winning by first round. Okay, let's see how this. It should be a good one there. As soon as that
might be a decider come.
As soon as that round starts, I can just see fireworks, man. And once again, oh my god, I can't wait, man. I'm going through this damn card, and I'm just getting more amped up. Holy freaking crap!
Yeah, this fight right here, bro.
The UFC has been putting some insane freaking cards the last like 4 pay-per-views, man. This is crazy. Max Holloway, bro.
Yep. This fight, I can't wait for this fight.
Max Holloway, 15-3 USA versus Ricardo Lamas, 16-4 US. Holy crap! This is a heck of a fight. Wow. And Ricardo Lamas, he's a motherfucker. He's a motherfucker of motherfuckers, man.
He sure is, bro.
But I can't go against my boy Max, man. He's been on a heck of a freaking roll. Ever since his loss to McGregor,
yep.
He's been, I don't think he's lost since.
No, I don't think so.
He's a freaking beast. Overall MMA game. Striking's insane. Hands, legs.
Dude, I love Holloway's fighting style.
Takedown defense is insane. Freaking warrior. Same can be said for Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah.
But I just have Max Holloway. He's younger. He's on a roll. I think he's on a freaking 6, 7, 8, 5 winning streak, something like that. has the height advantage, has the reach advantage. I see it being kind of competitive. Then I see Max Holloway using his striking, his distance control, and he starts picking off Ricardo Lamas. And
actually, Lamas is the one with the reach advantage for the hands. It's Holloway has longer legs and he's taller.
Oh, but he actually has.
He's got a 2-inch reach advantage for Lamas.
I still see it working. It's exactly how I called it though with Max.
Yeah, no,
use distance and popping them.
Dude, I'm in agreement with you. I think that Lamas is, he's a beast, man. Total beast. Holloway's another beast.
By the way, second round finish for Max Holloway. I don't know if it's gonna be a TKO or KO or whatever, or rocks him and then submits him. But Max Holloway second round. That's how I'm calling.
I'm going Holloway also. I'm gonna officially call this one hell of an entertaining fight that Max Holloway wins by decision.
Wow. Okay. Nobody can argue that. These are two top dogs.
I just think that Lamas is too good to get put out like that, and he'll find a way to keep fighting back. But ultimately, Holloway is the more talented guy, and therefore he'll pull out the decision victory.
Well, like I said, can't argue. These things are so evenly stacked. I can't even say anything. Second, another great one. The co-main event. Dominick Cruz, 21-1. USA. Urijah Faber, 33-8. USA. They're 1-1. WEC Urijah beat him.
Yep.
And Dominick beat him. Is the third match.
This match settles the score.
Man, and everything's telling me to go with Dominick Cruz. I mean, everything's just good. I have no idea why something's telling me Uriah's going to pull up an upset.
Dude, it's so possible. Urijah is...
They're 1-1, and Urijah, even his stoppage to Renan Barral was questionable, I remember.
Uriah's a tough dude, man.
Yeah. Man, this is a tough one. And everything's telling me to go with Dominick. God damn it. I'm going to go against... I don't know why the heck I was feeling that Uriah's going to pull this off. Urijah, third round submission.
Yeah?
Wobbles him and goes to the ground. And
that's totally possible,
Urijah
dude.
takes it.
Totally possible, bro.
You know his choke game is... Guillotine, everything. His choke game is insane.
Yeah.
God damn it. I don't know why I feel that, man, but that's what I'm rolling with, man. What are you calling on this one?
I kind of have that feeling you do, where I'm like, it's very possible Faber could pull off this win, but I'm rolling with Dominick Cruz by decision. I think that he does what he does, and he's able to stay away from Faber, stay on the outside, land his shots, not get, too caught up in a lot of grappling.
Pretty much vintage Dominick Cruz.
Vintage Dominick Cruz. I just think that he'll be able to pull that off. So yeah, I got Cruz by decision. But again, as far as DraftKings purposes, if you got 4 guys you feel really good about on your card, I'm sure Faber is the cheaper guy here on DraftKings. You might want to throw him in on a card or two, just in case he pulls it off. It's tough, man.
This is gonna be a tough one for DraftKings, man. What the hell? The whole card is that it's so evenly matched.
Yeah, it's really insane, this card, man.
Except this one. The main event of the evening.
What do you mean, except this one, bro?
Luke Rockhold,
we
15-2 USA, could easily be a light heavyweight, versus Michael Bisping, 29-7, United Kingdom, Britain, England. I try to see a possible way of Michael Bisping winning. I guess anything can happen. It's combat sports. It would be a heck of an upset. I just don't see it happening, man. I see Luke putting him out in the second round. It lands an elbow, shot rocks him, ground and pound on the floor, just either submission or just the TKO stoppage. I see Luke winning this. Man, I just don't see. I just can't picture Michael actually winning. Luke is no joke to me, man. Even you remember, even before the Weidman fight, I think you had Weidman, right?
Yeah, I picked Weidman,
and I was like, no, Luke Rockhold. To me, I just see something different. I see just a complete mixed martial artist. He trains day in and day out with dudes like DC and Cain Velasquez. So when he goes up against these guys, I can just imagine when he goes to grapple with them, they feel like a joke compared to DC and freaking Cain Velasquez. And this guy, Luke Rockhold, could easily be a freaking light heavyweight. And he could even fight in heavyweight. I can see him easily competing at like 215, 220 pounds. He's a big dude, man. I just, especially now that he trains so much with DC and Cain, if Michael tries to get in and clinch, I just see him pretty much mollywopping and tossing him to the side. He used to just much stronger guys, more skilled. Yeah, I just can't see it, man. Second round stoppage. Luke takes it in my eyes. How do you see this playing off, and then what's your pick?
I see this fight. I like Michael Bisping. He's got a lot of heart. He comes to fight, but I don't think he has a chance in this fight. If there's one fight on this card where I wouldn't even bother swinging the other way at all, it's this fight. I don't even. There's no scenario in which I can see Michael Bisping winning this fight. All respect to him, like I said, he's a tough man, but it's just that Luke Rockhold is that good and that complete of a fighter. I got Luke Rockhold by submission victory in the first round.
Wow.
I think he rocks him, he gets him down to the ground, and probably a rear naked choke or some something like that takes him out of the game.
To me personally, and I know you're gonna disagree with me on this one. I didn't. And I like Michael Bisping, tough son of a gun, and he does deserve a title match. He hasn't had one his whole career, and he's been a top 10, top 5 guy his whole career. But to me, he didn't really deserve this fight because you know how I felt. I thought he lost that fight versus Silva. I thought when Silva landed that knee, I thought the fight should have just been stopped there. I mean, freaking Herb Dean walked up to him, hey, get up, multiple times. He wasn't even responding for the first couple of times. Then he responded. He was out. To me, and a lot of people feel that way also. It's pretty much 50-50 in between. You have people that think, Bisping put up a boxing clinic and blah, 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 and this and that, and he didn't lose that fight. Then you have the other 50 that think just like I thought. I'm like, that fight should have been over. After that knee landed, he didn't even respond twice. But the third time he finally responded and looked up. The dude was out. I had Silva winning that fight, so I saw this pretty much. I would have loved to have seen this pretty much Silva versus Rockhold. Even Luke said that he would have preferred to fight to face Silva, because I think Silva's not the same Silva, but he's still Silva. and I think he won that fight. So I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
I guess it is what it is. It's just how I felt.
It's how it played out. I actually agree with you that I would have been fine if the fight was stopped against Silva when that knee landed. If they stopped the fight, I would have had no argument. But because they didn't stop the fight, I felt Bisping actually won when the fight was over.
All right, but tell me this, Lee. Did you see what I saw that time? Did you see he landed a knee?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
He was slumped.
Yeah.
And did you see where Herb Dean went and asked him, hey, get up, go to your corner? And he didn't respond. He asked him again, didn't respond. Like the third time, then he looks up and responds to him. Like he was out of it.
Yeah.
Do you not find that weird? That
no, I kind of did, but
I
I kind of did find that weird. But at the same time, I realized that it was a scenario where the bell had rung also, and while the referee's asking him, hey, get up, whatever, the time had already expired.
I know. It landed like right on time. The knee landed. So boom, he gets caught. He slumps down. Boom.
I still think he should have stopped it. I do kind of feel like he still should have stopped it, but at the same time, I guess I could sort of understand why he didn't. Maybe he said, you know what, he's got a minute to sit in the corner or whatever, and
that's wrong. If you're out, you're out, man.
No, I agree. That's what I mean. It's a tough call.
That's what gets me, because you remember the last time we talked about it. That's what gets me about it, because you know how Herb Dean is known for prematurely stopping fights too and stuff like that. And I've seen him so many times when that same exact thing happens when somebody lands a shot, boom, and bam, the bell rings, bam, and he looks at them and he tells them, get up, go to your corner. And they don't respond, and he immediately just waves it off. And he didn't do it this time. Actually, he asked him like three times. The first 2 times he wasn't even responding. The third time he looks up and responds. He's like, are you okay? Go to your corner. And you see him still kind of stall because Bisping was out. And then he gets up, kind of wobbled, and goes to his... man, it just rubbed me the wrong way, man, that stuff.
Yeah, well, he's here regardless.
And that cost him. That was a rookie move by Bisping. Call him out. My mouthpiece. Bro, you're in the middle of action. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're a freaking veteran. That was a dumb move also. So if it would have cost him the fight, I wouldn't have cared either. I mean, you've been around this game for how long? You're a freaking veteran. Been top 10, top 5 your whole career. In the middle of action, bro. Stop calling for your freaking mouthpiece, because the tides were kind of turning right there to Silva's advantage there. So that he was kind of trying to use that as an advantage to like stall the action.
Yeah, I kind of think that might have been what actually kind of made the referee a little like hesitant to do. Like, I think it was a confusing moment all around, because you don't usually see somebody do that. And then the knee came right after, and then the bell came, and people were jumping up on the side of the octagon like to set up the corner right away. It was like just a little.
Anderson Silva's over there freaking. He was celebrating his victory and stuff.
Yeah. I think it just became kind of a scenario that was a little too hectic at the moment, and it kind of caused the referee to freeze up for a second. And then by the time he kind of unfroze, Bisping was responding, so he's like, all right, go to your corner.
Tell me right now, though. Tell me right now, and be truthful about this. What would you have preferred, this fight right here? You okay with Bisping, or would you have preferred to have seen Luke Rockhold versus Anderson Silva?
If I had a choice and Silva was healthy, I'll take Anderson Silva without a doubt. I think he's a better matchup for Luke Rockhold. Bisping is very straightforward, very, he's not a savvy defender. He doesn't pose too many challenges for Rockhold, because what Bisping is good at, Rockhold is better at. So, Silva's would be harder to hit. I still think that Silva's striking would be better than Rockhold's also. Only thing is that, and we touched base on this the last time he fought versus Bisping. It's kind of like Silva can't pull I'm not sure if he's having trouble pulling the trigger, or I'm not. It's like he's holding back. Yeah, that's what I thought cost him the fight against Bisping. I really felt like when it came to the Bisping fight, Silva should have won the fight, because there were so many opportunities for him to pull the trigger where Bisping left himself open and he didn't. And that's the reason why he lost the fight in my eyes at the end, because he just wasn't pulling the trigger and he wasn't active enough on the offensive end.
I agree with you. I felt many times in that fight, I'm like, why isn't he pulling the trigger? Why is he not just
pulled the trigger half the times that he was able to, where I saw clear openings and easy landings for him, I think it would have been a whole nother story, and Silva would have won by decision himself. So I'm hoping that Silva, I don't know if it was that he was afraid to throw with the leg, or but I'm hoping when he does come back, that he can pull the trigger a little bit more, because he showed to me in that fight that he still can win against top-notch opponents. Top 10 guys, top 5 guys. He'll be able to compete with them and win, but he's got to pull the trigger to do it.
Yeah, I mean, at 100%, if he would have still been at 100%, I see Silva still being the champ right now. But he's not 100% of what he was, but I still think he's like 90-95%. You feel me? Yeah. And 90-95% of Anderson Silva can still, to me, even be champion. Let's say he would have got the nod and they would have stopped the fight right versus Bisping, and this would have been him right now. I could have very easily seen him winning this fight and knocking out Rockhold. I mean, Vitor Belfort did it. He knocked out freaking Luke. I could have very easily seen that happen to him being champion again. I can still see him being champion even now, even though he didn't get the decision versus Bisping. I can still see him being champion. So it's like a tough one for me, and I consider him. I still consider him the GOAT. I still haven't placed John Bones Jones over him as the GOAT. So it's tough for me. I mean, I still even right now I see him making a run and getting the belt one more time. I don't see him holding it for long, but I think he can still get that belt.
I can't really disagree with you there. I think he probably could still get the belt. I think if he got an actual title shot, you would see the best Anderson Silva that you could possibly see, for that one fight. And I would actually honestly hope, though, that it's been a long career, man. If you get that belt, just go out with it.
Go out with it.
That would be the perfect ending to somebody as great as Anderson Silva.
You know what did catch me off guard? And it caught me off guard, and at the same time it didn't catch me off guard in that fight when he fought Bisping, was that Bisping dropped him like twice. Nothing bad, but he did drop him and stun him.
Yeah, he did rock him a couple times.
And the thing is that I'm remembering Silva's chin was always nasty, but at the same time, then I go back and I'm like, the first fight versus Chael Sonnen, and Chael Sonnen's known for having pillow fists. He can't catfish anybody. But in that fight, Chael stunned him twice and dropped him too.
Yeah.
And he was nowhere near finished at that. I mean, he came back and he was dominant. And the only reason why that fight was even close was because he had a freaking it was either broken or bruised or something rib. Yeah. So I wonder if it's that his chin's not the same, his chin, or I'm not sure. I can't. That's a hard one because even his second fight versus Weidman on the ground and pound, I think it was an elbow. I think or was it a shot? Weidman caught him with it, and it kind of looked like it slept him for a second, and he came back. I don't know if you remember that second fight. So I don't know how his chin is anymore, but
yeah, it is a little questionable.
Is it the same or
the good thing about it is even if he does get stunned a little bit more, he still seems to have a quick recovery. So
yeah.
I definitely would love to see. I feel like Anderson Silva's whole career has been a career of greatness for the most part. And I think that if he can come back after, I mean, he just got surgery and everything, but if he can come back after that and he still wants to fight, they should just give him a fight against somebody that's in the top 5. And if he wins that fight, give him one fight for a title. Let him take a title shot real quick, and let him see if he can get it. That's
hopefully it happens, man.
Because I think he kind of deserves it. Of course, he has to win a fight. You can't get your title shot after a loss. That would be kind of ridiculous. But if he can come back, win a fight against a guy in the top 5, which I think he definitely can do, and then you go ahead and give him a shot against Rockhold, since we don't think Bisping has a chance tonight.
He still holds the record, I believe, most title defenses, I believe. And you know what? Before we close the show out, I want to touch base on something else. Cody Garbrandt is a motherfucker of motherfuckers of motherfuckers.
Yeah, man.
And remember what I said to break down that fight. When I broke down that fight, it's exactly what I said. Remember I told you?
Yep.
When you grow up, this dude grew up. It's a heck of a thing when you grow up boxing and wrestling at the same time, bro. at a high level. Your freaking uncle's an Olympian boxer, and then you're wrestling at a high level. That translates into a motherfucker in the MMA world, bro. I knew it happened, and also because Almeida, and I love the dude, motherfucker's a beast, but almost all his fights, his defense is not there. He gets clipped and makes a comeback and wins. I don't know why I knew it. Versus Cody Garbrandt, he'd get clipped and then finished. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. His hand, his boxing, his hand speed, and the way he uses boxing in MMA, where just traditional boxing doesn't translate into MMA. You have to like really have your spacing and know when to explode and back off Man, just translated beautifully, bro. That dude's he's a star, man. He's up and coming star, man.
Yeah, I think this solidified him without a doubt as an up and coming star. You know, I picked Almeida because of the experience difference. You know, I thought that I know Garbrandt looked great prior, and he certainly looked great in this fight too. But you know, I felt like there was a large gap in experience, which is what made me roll with Almeida.
Yeah, but you know what? I have to roll with what Garbrandt said. And he said, "You've been fed a lot of tomato cans." He said that pretty much his record, Almeida's record, was built up kind of like a boxer's, where you have like 85% tomato cans and bums. And it was kind of true though. I think he had only about, out of those 21, about 6 or 7 real legit fights.
They did move him up a little slower than they usually do on MMA fighters for some reason. But even still, his just overall amount of experience. And then I looked at those 6 or 7 fights against well-known opponents, and he handled them pretty well. So, the
only thing is, a Garbrandt, the 8 fights he's had were against legit motherfucking competition.
Okay. Listen, it's going to be hard for me to pick against Garbrandt again, let me tell you. It's going to be hard after watching what I saw, man. Cause
it's crazy? We're talking about this right now, about how boxers pad their like, that's known. You see that saying when they say taxi cab drivers or journeymen or someone from the bar or something like that? There was another podcast that I listened to, and these professionals, he was hosting the Shane Mosley fight.
Yeah,
he was pretty much the commentator that came in the ring, whatever. And he was around. He's an MMA guy. He was around boxers, and that guy that had taken about a 10-year layoff, he came back in that undercard. He was fighting literally some dude from Mexico from like a bar.
Yeah.
When people say that. When they say, "Oh, boxers," they really do pad their freaking records to the point that most of the boxers, they were like, "This guy shouldn't even be in there." It's just crazy. It's kind of like we know that little insight about boxing, but we really don't. You understand? And that just legitimized it. Like, man, like you see the Triple G records and all that. God damn it, they really do fight like taxi cab drivers and stuff like that. Lee, if you would have heard, like, they really do, bro.
Yeah, no,
like,
I know.
This guy used to box.
I joke about it with GI, but it's true, like,
it's crazy. I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't. And it's kind of frowned upon, and they still do it. In the boxing world, they had legends kind of frowning upon it. Like, they're like, I don't even know why this, but it doesn't matter. It still happens always. That's kind of like, you see how GI used to box when he was younger. It's like, hey, we'll pay you, and they get paid supposedly with some insane amount of money. Like, I'm not talking about good, I'm talking about like bad.
Yeah.
Wow, you came from Mexico down here, and I think they found him in a bar, and he was a taxi driver. Literally, like, I'm not even making this up. It was something like that, and they paid him like pennies just to make this guy look good, because I believe he was undefeated or something, and his mom died. He went into depression, that boxer, and he took like 9 or 10 years off. And he came back because his kids were telling him, go back to boxing, whatever. Get like your life back in session, whatever. But
To me, it's just crazy. Like, it's for real, literally. These guys, they face freaking tomato cans like bums and stuff. Like, oh man, that's crazy to me. I don't know. I just had to get that out. That was just crazy to me when I heard it, because you hear it so many times that when you hear legit guys talking about it, they're like, "Hey man, they're really guys from like the bars and just guys working the field. Hey, you used to box before? Hey, come on, fight this guy just to build the guy up." I hope MMA doesn't ever go that way, man. I hope it does.
There's too much talent there. The problem in boxing right now is the talent pool is not that high, and they're trying to get people excited. So they'll pad somebody's record up to 30-0, and then suddenly the guy's on HBO fighting somebody you never heard of, and he knocks him out in the second round, and everyone's like, "Oh, this guy's good."
Yeah, but you know what they're talking about? They're talking about supposedly if that Muhammad Ali act actually, they're trying to, because that's for boxing, but they're trying to make it kick into MMA. If that happens, that can happen. I read a lot about it, and I was like, oh man, I really don't want that to happen. I'm okay. People get pissed off at the UFC, the way you see how they just keep it legit. Oh, you're that good? Okay, you're gonna fight this dude that's that good. We're not gonna pad you, even if you're a star.
Yeah, they don't pad anybody.
They did it with what's his name? Safe Northcutt. They did it with Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah. Even Cody Garbrandt to some extent. You know? Like,
Cody. Thank you. But I like that. That's why in MMA,
that's
you can
what it
be
should
fucking
be.
10-8, and it doesn't matter. You can still be legit as heck, and everybody still wants to see you fight because they know he's 10-8. But god damn it, he's fighting the top guys always.
Yep.
That's why in boxing you lose 2 or 3 fights and nobody's even following you anymore because they know. Oh man, 80% of your fights have been bums, and now when you start facing legit guys, now you're losing. That's why you fall off and almost nobody follows you. And in MMA, that is not the culture at all. At all, man. Go look at Vitor Belfort's freaking record and Dan Hendo and stuff like that. Nobody cares because when he lost to Anderson Silva. When he lost to Vitor Belfort. When he lost to Weidman. Okay, fucking greats.
Yeah.
Fucking elite fucking MMA fighters. So
no, I'm totally on board with you there. I think that the way the UFC does it is the way it should be done. You can't, just pad somebody up and let them go in MMA, 4 fights a year against people that they're clearly better than. The MMA fans would know exactly what's happening. Like, UFC fans, at least I would. I'd be like, hold on, you just beat 4 people and you're still fighting somebody outside of the top 15? Like, how does that happen? Can you imagine that? Like, somebody's 4-0 in the UFC. Like, they got their UFC contract. Let's say they were 4-0 outside of UFC as a pro MMA record. Then they get a UFC contract because Dana White found them and said, all right, I'm going to give you a contract. And they win their first 4 fights under that contract. Could you imagine, like, now they're 8-0, 4-0 in the UFC, and the UFC just goes, you can fight somebody ranked 20th for your next fight. Like, it doesn't happen, crazy, man. Like, every fight in the UFC, when you are not losing, you're going to fight somebody ranked higher and higher and higher. No, they're not going to send you backwards. You're not, you know what I mean? Maybe if somebody got injured and nobody could fill in, you might get one fight like that, but they're looking to move you up and see what you're made of as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. But what's crazy is that when you even try to compare it to the way boxing does it, they'll put up a dude against somebody. Okay, let me just try to break it down. In the UFC, they wouldn't even be able to do it, even if they tried, because I believe they only have like top 20s, right? I don't even believe they have anything less than that. So they can't even find someone as low ranked as they do in boxing. You understand what I'm talking about? Nobody as low ranked as they find to pass somebody's record up in boxing is even signed to the UFC.
So boxing,
even if they tried, it would be kind of like how you said they put kind of like a number 5, 6 ranked guy versus like a number 20 ranked. That's like as bad as they can even get.
Yeah.
In boxing, it's even worse than that. They would get somebody literally that would just work in the fields or working in a bar or a taxi driver.
Because it's different. To be in UFC, you need a contract from the UFC. You need to have pro MMA fights. You know, like in boxing, you just need to, like, you know, all these other countries that you could go to. Like, you could just go to Mexico, fight in a bar, and you have one pro MMA, one pro boxing win. You know, and then now you have this one win on your record, and if the WBC wants to say, oh, this guy can fight, and then they put him into whatever state you're in, like Nevada State Athletic Commission or California or whatever, and say, hey, we want to send, you know, we want this guy to fight. They just give the guy a physical. If he passes the physical, he's got a license to fight, and you know, and that's all it takes.
It's just, I don't know. It's just
you can't do that. You know,
it's kind of crazy because it's like I said, it's like we know that this happens, but just me hearing it at that time, and there were greats there. Kevin Kelly was there. They all talked about it behind the camera.
You know,
and they even acknowledged it, and then it just hit something in me. I'm like, that's so wrong. I don't. That's why I don't care for padded records. That's why. You see Chocolatito and all these guys. I'm not. Hey. He's a good boxer. I just don't see any greatness in it. I don't see anything. I don't see anything special. I don't see anything that I'm like, oh, damn, he's nasty. And then I look at his record. Okay, he might be what 45-0 or something. But I know that like 95% of those matches, 90%.
He was fighting elsewhere. He wasn't fighting here. You know, you can't go by that. It's the same thing with Triple G. You know, like he spent the good portion of his career not fighting in America and being unknown here. And that's not to say that America is the end all be all of if you aren't fighting here, you're not legit. You could be legit fighting for somewhere else. But this is more a criticism of the sport of boxing for allowing people to, you know, have records like this. They really shouldn't. If you're ranked in someone's ranking, you know, like, of course part of the problem is there's freaking, you know, whatever it is, 50 governing bodies, and the total amount of belts in each weight class is like 57 or something like that. It's crazy. You know, all these belts you've never even heard of that exist. But it's those sanctioning bodies that like the WBC, WBA, WBO, even the lesser known ones that allow these things to happen, and it's really their fault. I feel like once somebody's ranked at all on a list, you want to stay on that list, you need to fight somebody above what you're ranked on that list. And if you're not doing that, you should just fall right off that list, because you're not pushing for greatness. You're not trying to be great. Like they need to change the culture, change the rules. You know, like,
but the culture wasn't like that. That's why the great, rest in peace, Muhammad Ali. We look at him so greatly. The culture wasn't like that before, man.
No, not at all.
Ali just kept fighting top of the...
Even up through the 90s, man. Like, you know, Ali fought the greats. You look at, you know, in the 80s, Mike Tyson, once he won the belt, he was fighting number one contender after number one contender.
Yeah, and people, they like to kind of shit on Mike Tyson's resume. No, and when you go back and you look back at his resume, you go back, watch his fights. He wasn't actually fighting tomato cans. A lot of these guys were legit, man.
Yeah, listen, he was fighting guys.
I kind of lost focus on that.
He was fighting guys that, you know, at that time, they were all ranked, you know, number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever they were. Well, you know, once he got his belt, and I mean, you know, these guys that fought each other, they only lost to each other. They beat everybody else below them. They would only lose to each other, and Mike beat them all. So that just goes to show you, you know, at that time, those guys were the best heavyweights around, aside from Mike, because they would fight each other a bit and they'd lose to each other or go back and forth, you know, and Mike just steamrolled right through all of them.
Yeah.
You know, and then you even past Mike, you look at guys like Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, you know, they fought everybody.
And they wanted to fight. They wanted to fight each other. They wanted to fight the best.
And that's exactly what's lacking in boxing today.
They don't want to fight each other.
These guys want to fight each other.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
You know what? Listen, this is a reason why I like Ward so much. Exceptional boxer. He's an elite boxer. But then he has that mentality, kind of like the Ali's, the Tysons, that old mentality. I want to face that. He's always saying it. He's been trying to face Triple G since before his almost 2-year layoff. He moved out of 168 because he wants to fight the best.
Yeah, he's like, I want Kovalev.
I want Kovalev.
Yeah.
So that's why I like Ward so much, man.
Me too.
Besides his exceptional freaking boxing, his boxing is freaking insane.
Yeah.
But he wants to fight the best.
Yep.
He cleaned up the division before that contract stuff happened. Also, that what was it called? The super middleweight that tournament or something.
Yeah, the Super 6.
Yeah, Super 6. So he's one of the few, man. He's one of the few that does that.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree, man. I mean, and another guy to mention when you talk about proper mind frame and what you need to be great. I don't think anybody that's still actually fighting today personifies that better than Bernard Hopkins.
I was gonna say him, but he was so old I didn't want to bring him up. But he's
still fighting. So you know, when you look at what Bernard Hopkins has done over his career, he refused promotions. He refused guys like Don King and all these guys to manage and promote him, and he did it himself. His whole career, he was his own promoter. He said, you know what, I'm gonna be great, and I'm gonna be so great that the people demand to see me fight. And that's what he did. You know, that guy broke molds in a way. He was fighting off these changes that were happening in boxing since, you know, the early 90s, where they were starting to roll over. And, you know, it all came about from too many promoters, too much greed, too many sanctioning bodies. And it all became about money. And all these guys are trying to lace their pockets that are not the actual fighters. You know, they're all trying to get their money. I mean, look at this belt situation. You know, where people are like, oh, people have the wrong idea. They said, oh, you know, Canelo's scared to fight Triple G because he gave away the belt. No, Canelo doesn't want to pay $400,000 to defend the belt.
To keep a belt.
It's ridiculous. Like, the WBC wants to charge you $400,000 every time you step into the ring to defend their belt, which you won by.
That's crazy.
It's the most stupid thing I've ever heard of.
Crazy.
It's ridiculous. If I was a boxer, man, like a professional boxer, or if there was like a boxers union of some kind, they should all just get together, take every belt there is and throw it in the garbage on TV and just say, you know what?
And make it useless, yeah.
Yeah, this is useless to us because we fight each other. We're the ones that put in the work, and we know who the best is. I don't need your belt. You know what's
crazy? They can make their own belt. Boxers can be like, you know what?
They could make a belt and just pass it to each other.
Just pop out of anywhere in boxing. WBA, WBC, WBO, IBO, IBF, IBA, ZBI, they can come from anywhere. Anybody can have a belt. If I were them, I'd just make a legit one belt.
Yeah.
Kind of how like how the UFC is. There's just no multiple belts. It's just one belt, one champion, and then everybody else is ranked number 1, 2, 3, 4. I would love it to be like that, or just get close to what boxing used to be.
Yeah, I want to touch on that a little bit and just say that, you know, Cotto was the first one to throw the belt away and give it away before he fought Canelo, and you know, he didn't want to spend $400,000 to defend the belt against Canelo, and then, you know, Canelo gets the belt by default because they said, okay, whoever wins is going to be, you know, the WBC champ anyway.
Yeah.
So the WBC didn't get their $400,000 from Cotto because he got rid of the belt before the fight, and they still gave the belt to the winner of the fight. I bet you if Cotto won the fight, they wouldn't have given him the belt, though. They would have been like, oh, you already got rid of it, so, you know. But they give it to Canelo. Why they do that? Because they just were hoping that he'd pay them $400,000 for his next fight. And he was like, you know what, I want this belt. And also because they do this whole mandatory thing. Like, here, you can have this belt, except the conditions of having this belt are, 1, that every time you defend it, you have to pay us $400,000, and 2, you must fight who you say we fight. And I'm kind of cool with the you must fight who we say you fight thing, as long as they're doing that legitimately by ranking. But in situations like this, where Canelo is the smaller guy, you're telling him you must fight Triple G, and nobody's telling Triple G you must fight Canelo, you must make 157 at least or something, you know, to fight him. And the guy just got the belt, had no intention of staying at middleweight to begin with. He went there to be honest, he went there to beat Cotto. He wanted to beat a legend, and put that on his resume, and it was a big payday. And
He went there for super fights, and he's never said no to Triple G at all. All he's ever said to Triple G is make it 155, 156 or something like that. That's all he's ever said.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy he's the superstar now in boxing. He said it before. I am not staying at middleweight.
He said it even
I'm just
before
doing
the
it pretty
Cotto
much
fight. He was like, win or lose, I'm not staying here. This is not it's not where I want to fight.
And Lee, I'm not a huge Canelo fan.
Yeah.
He's a good boxer, but you know what I think about him. I just think he's good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's great or special. So it's nothing like I'm just siding with him. Blah 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 blah. No, but it's true. He's always said, I'm just coming here for these super fights for Cotto, for Triple G, and then I'm going back to 154. That's where I want to be at. So I don't get anybody that uses the argument at all as he's the mandatory. You have to face Triple G. You have to do what he's. In what world does he make any demands? In what world? The guy that did 97,000 pay-per-view buys. In what world?
Yeah,
it makes no sense at all.
But the problem is that he's the promoted one, and they want him to be the superstar, and it's really the WBC and these belts.
Who's
these
the promoter?
belts.
What do you mean?
Triple G.
Yeah. They have HBO has this whole hype train on him.
And all this
guys,
money. All
HBO, are you not noticing? It's not catching on. You had him on ESPN. You had him everywhere, and his pay-per-view flopped. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, you're not tricking anybody.
And it's not even that he's not good. He might very well be good or even great. We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
Because you won't put him in there with legitimate opponents.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Arizlandi Lara called him out and said, I'll go to 160 and fight you. He ignores him. Bernard Hopkins wanted to fight him.
He said,
which could have catapulted him.
Yeah.
That's B-Hop is a huge name. He ignores him. Ward has been calling him out since before his 2-year layoff. He ignores him. Anybody that's legit, he ignores them. It's just crazy to me. And then B-Hop goes and fights Kovalev. That's why I respect Kovalev, because Kovalev really just fights anybody.
Yeah, Kovalev will fight anybody. I have way more respect, honestly, for Kovalev than I do for Triple G at this point.
Yeah, and exactly. And I've said it before. I see skill in Triple G. I just don't really know if it's really skill or not, because he's fighting journeymen and guys that it's just it's just like you said. We just don't know. Maybe he would have been an all-time great by now if he actually fought legitimate dudes. He's 35, right? If he's not 35, he's pretty close to 35.
He's either 35 or about to turn 35.
Yeah,
you know. So,
bro, you're listening to not to yourself or to us? He's 30, almost 35, if not 35. That is pretty much when you start seeing a decline, if there hasn't been a decline already.
Yeah, I mean, he's past his prime.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It is. I don't understand it at all. And it goes back to that mindset problem where people don't want to fight the best anymore. If you want to know my opinion on it, I really think that what it is his team and him were, you know, once they came and started fighting in America and whatever, they started getting paid. You know, the purses were showing up as 200,000, 250,000. Then, you know, as he was beating more guys, 350, 500, whatever it was. Now he's making over $1 million a fight. I think his last fight he made like $2 million or maybe a little more. I forgot what exactly the purse was. And he got that for fighting a guy like Dominick Wade. So, I mean, if you're gonna pay a guy whatever $1 million, $1.5 million to fight Dominick Wade, and he's fine with that, he knows if he takes a loss, that hype train is over and the money's over. But at the same token, if you fight a guy like Canelo Alvarez for a fight, even if you lose, you're gonna make as much in that one fight as you would for your next 10 Dominick Wades easy. So just take the damn fight, man, because you're 35 years old. By the time you have 10 more fights, your career's over. You know, I mean, unless you're like Bernard Hopkins, which is, you know, you don't see that every day.
You know what? Now that you just brought that up, it's I didn't even think about that. Any one of these fights coming up, even against these journeymen or tomato cans or whatever, we could see a decline like that from Triple G, because at this age, this is the age when in one fight you see, oh, they don't have it anymore. It's around this age.
Yeah.
When you see that one fight that they have a fight, you're like, oh, he's gonna kill this person. Boom, 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 he gets rocked. Oh, he just lost. And they're never the same. Because I'm pretty sure this is past his prime already. I mean, he might be in his prime still. I don't even know. I can't even evaluate it, man.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's body's different, so it's kind of hard to judge that because everybody's body is different, and he may have not taken much punishment.
With him, it's because of his opposition. We really can't.
Yeah, I mean, he could be 35 years old and never really taken a beating at all. We don't know. We haven't seen all those fights that he had overseas, and it's not like they record them and send them to us and go, here, watch Triple G's old fights. You can catch a few of them on YouTube, but
you know what I did hear? Supposedly, this could just be all a hype train also, but he supposedly does hit very, very hard.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I'm sure he does.
Supposedly he spars heavyweights, and allegedly the heavyweights say, "Wow, that's the hardest punch I've ever felt." He supposedly gets like kettlebells, like 30-something pound, 50 pounds or something like that, and just with his wrist, he does some exercise that even like heavyweights can't do. Supposedly this area here is insane. That's where he packs all his
well, I mean,
allegedly.
I was just hearing this. That actually makes sense though, because the power, aside from coming from you actually putting your body behind the punch, you need that wrist to be solid so your fist doesn't bend, so you can get 100% effectiveness out of that shot. So that would make sense. I could see that. And he does hit hard. We could tell just from watching him fight. But again, man, Triple G, fight somebody, please. Like, this is the most useless hype train that the boxing world has ever been put on, waiting for you to actually fight.
For so long, bro.
It's so long. But that's what I mean. Like, there's so many factors that go into this, from the corruption and the greed to the governing bodies to HBO building him up. Everybody passes money around under a table. It's a boxing is a very corrupt business and a corrupt sport at this stage, and it's sad, man. Listen, I'm sure there was always corruption in the sport, and I'm sure there's corruption in every sport to some degree, but boxing is bad. It's beyond anything else I've really seen of late, where it comes to under the table deals. This promoter can't work with this promoter, this fighter can't fight this fighter. It's so bad, man. Like,
and people don't know that you've been around it for a long time.
Oh yeah, man.
You have pictures of Macho Camacho when you were a kid and everything. You've been around the boxing ring and pros for a long time. Even me myself, I've been around not a lot of pros, but a couple of Golden Glove champions and pro champion Kevin Kelly.
And I grew up.
And we grew up on it, so it's like we know what we're talking about. Also, we love the sport. I don't want anybody that's seen this right now to think that we're bashing boxing. No, we're just talking about the truth that a lot of people. Well, I can't even say a lot of people, because a lot of people are actually talking about it now. But it's it's what's frustrating to us, and why boxing isn't what boxing was before. It's just a lot of things. Pretty much everything that Lee's hitting on. It's true. It's fact.
Just so you guys get a listen and get a little bit of an idea. I mean, I grew up with Iran Barkley as like a family friend, to my family. I as a kid, I hung around Macho Camacho and Ray Mercer, George Foreman when he was doing his comeback. My father, who was a photographer, took a lot of pictures for boxing, was personal friends with Iran Barkley's manager back then. I've been, where, I've also later on gone and been literally on the ring for my job, my regular job, for fights like Vernon Forrest versus Shane Mosley, and I've seen I've been watching boxing my whole life and been close to it, and I've heard stories from inside the boxing world about things. I mean, it is very, very corrupt in that world, and
you know what you're talking about, because like you said, I'm not putting I'm going to put any of your personal business out there, but you work in that realm.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's
you have a lot of inside scoop.
It's a very, very. It makes me very sad, is all I could say, to see what it is today, because whether you have the amount of talent that you had in the 90s or you had in the 80s or you don't, it doesn't matter. It may to some degree, but if you're at least putting the best guys you have to fight the best guys you have, trust me, the fans will watch. They will know that you are doing your best in the sport of boxing to give the fans the best possible show you can give them. So they'll at least watch, and you'll keep ratings, and that excitement will generate new fighters. New fighters will see this and go, you know what? I want to do that. What inspires people is the best fighting the best. And you just don't see that. That's why the UFC is growing so fast. It's so successful. You know, you're always going to watch a fight where anything can happen. And that's what the fans want. You don't want to keep watching. Nobody wants to watch Triple G fight Dominick Wade and Willie Monroe Jr. Not when you're putting him on HBO as like the next king of boxing. You can't promote somebody, not to a smart boxing fan. You can't sit there and make these promotions and spend thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars putting Triple G on posters and whatever, and then the guy he's fighting can't even be on the poster because nobody knows who he is.
I was just gonna say that.
It's so stupid. Like any truly educated boxing fan is like
Triple G and Chocolatito. Their opponent wasn't even on the poster.
Yeah, that was for the Dominick Wade fight. Dominick Wade didn't even get a picture on the poster, bro. Like that's insane.
And Chocolatito's opponent also.
Yeah.
Didn't have
no. Crazy. I mean, come on. Like, we love boxing. We're not saying this because we hate boxing and we're trying to bash it. We just want boxing to be great again.
Yeah.
You know, that it's the God's honest truth, though. You know what? We should have this discussion on like in this corner episode. We should get all me, you, GI when he comes back from vacation. We're gonna do it in this corner where we touch on a lot of. We definitely gotta do that. We'll touch on a lot of what we find wrong in the sport of boxing.
What you said makes a lot of sense though, and it goes right back to like what I was saying, like in MMA, why people don't give a damn about a loss. And I mean, this is not just us. This is boxing analysts on ESPN and all that. They've said the same thing we're saying right now. Why MMA is so big, and why the fans really don't care about guys' loss. Because hey, when Rumble Johnson lost to DC. He almost knocked him out. These are the best of the best fighting, and he had just knocked out Gustafsson, and then he hasn't lost since, and he's fighting other top guys. Nobody cares about that loss because it was against another elite guy. Heck with MMA. Let's go back to boxing. When Holyfield and Bo fought multiple times, no one cared, and who lost, no one cared, and when they fought again. Everybody wanted to watch it.
Yeah,
Why? Because these are the best of the best fighting each other.
It's because every fan that's a fan of boxing knew after that first fight. I mean, they had an idea before the first fight and hopes, but once you saw that first fight, you knew that when those two guys step in the ring with each other, both those guys are real fighters with hearts of champions, skills of champions, and neither one of those guys was going to back down to the other one at all. You knew you were watching greatness, and that's what you were watching. And when's the last time you've seen a boxing match where you said, "I'm watching greatness right now"? Like as far as both guys. I mean, I understand that people could say, "I watched Floyd Mayweather and he's great." That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about two guys getting into the ring with a skill level that and a desire so strong to win that they would at least, it would appear in that fight that they'd be willing to die in the ring to win that fight. That's what you want to see. I can't remember the last time I've seen that in a boxing match. I really can't.
It's true. Yeah,
that saddens me, man.
Point.
You know,
make a great point. A lot of these fights too.
Go back to Iran Barkley, man. Some of you guys, if you're watching this podcast and you're a bit younger than us, you may not have seen Barkley fight, man. YouTube it. You know, Iran Barkley was not the most skilled fighter in the world, you know, and again, like I said, I knew the guy. He great dude, you know. I love Iran Barkley. You know, truth is, he used his head for defense. That's basically what he did when it came to defense. He said, "Go ahead, punch. You can punch me in the head 12 times in a row. I don't care, because you know what? I got power right here, and I'm gonna just catch you with one." Man, knocked out Tommy Hearns twice. You know, went 12 rounds with Roberto Duran with no defense. You know why? Right here.
Heart.
It was all heart. It was all heart and power. And he said, you know what? These guys may have more skill than me. These guys may throw a better jab than me. Doesn't matter. And I'll tell you what. Everybody that ever watched an Iran Barkley fight back in the day, they knew what they were going to get when they watched an Iran Barkley fight. And they were just as excited to watch Iran Barkley fight as they were to watch, you know, Roberto Duran fight or Tommy Hearns fight, because they knew this guy may not have the skill level of Sugar Ray Leonard, or he may not have the skill level of some of these guys that are considered the greatest of all times, you know, like in that discussion. But he was skilled enough, smart enough, powerful enough, and the heart of a champion all the way through. And you knew you were just as excited to watch that fight. And that's what I'm saying when I say that the skill level might not be as good today. But if you got guys with heart, man, that are going to step in there and go at it, and whoever the best is today, fighting the best of today, there's no reason Triple G shouldn't be fighting, what's his name, Danny Jacobs. You know, if this Canelo fight doesn't happen and Triple G is going to stay as a middleweight, he better fight Danny Jacobs. Because that's the only dude that I see that has legit skills sitting right there at the top rank.
He was talking about already about facing some dude at 168. So
yeah, some brand new champion at 168.
But listen to this. Listen to this. When Ward was at 168 and he had been trying to fight him, I am not leaving middleweight. I want to get all the belts. I will not fight anywhere else. As soon as Ward leaves, because he's like, man, I want to fight the best. I want to go up so I can face Kovalev. Immediately, Lee, there's talks. You know it's true. There's talks about Triple G now. If a Canelo fight doesn't happen, or even before that, blah, 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 he's going to face blah, blah, blah guy at 168. A journey. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When Ward was there waiting for you, you just said that you would not move up there. Man, there's a lot of blatant things out there, man. You can see it. If you want to see it, you can see it.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. You know, I respect the guys that are out there right now that are doing what they need to do to make fights happen, to make good fights happen. And those guys would be Canelo, Ward. You know, Canelo's moved up. I believe he started at 140 when he first came in. And, you know, he walked through there and people didn't want to fight him. He said, I'll go to 147. I'll fight Mayweather. I'll fight. He don't care. You know, okay, I'll fight Laura.
You said Canelo, Erislandy Lara, Cotto still at this age.
Yeah, listen, Cotto's paid his dues, man. Cotto's fought everybody he could fight.
Yeah.
You know, I respect the hell out of Cotto.
He's really fighting out of his way. That dude's really like a 140, 147, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he'll go up.
155, fighting 156. Bro,
and then you got guys like Ward, Hopkins, even Kovalev. From what I see now, he wants to fight everybody.
Yeah, he wants to fight.
You know, but then you got guys like Deontay Wilder, who clearly has skill. I mean, he's got size, he's got skill. I want to see him fighting somebody worthwhile. You know, the Bermane Stevens fight was a good fight. Stevens is a good fighter. I want to see more of that. You know, I don't. Once you fight Bermane Stevens, you become a champion, right? And you beat him. Why are you fighting who? You know what I mean? Like, at that point, you should just, even if the guy, as long as the guy's in the top 10, man, at least just, you know, stay in the top 10. Fight top 10 guys.
They should have. What I don't get is, why isn't the main priority in boxing to get champions that hold belts to fight each other? Okay, when Wilder won the belt from Bermane Stavern or whatever, he had the belt. Why wasn't like the immediate next fight, you have to fight Klitschko, which is the other champion that has all the other belts? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why is that not the main priority?
I can tell you why.
Klitschko has a mandatory from the IPF, blah, blah, blah.
But that's exactly why. That's the answer to your question, because each governing body has their own thing that they're trying to do, which has nothing to do with the other governing body. So the WBC, think about how crazy this is when you're a champion. That's why I keep saying, throw your belts in the garbage, man. You know, because that changes the culture. If everybody just got together and said, I don't care about your belt, I'm surrendering the belt. You know, and imagine if other people came up and won those belts while these other fighters were still not losing and they were great. Nobody would respect that other champion. Everybody would say, you can't beat the guy that isn't the champ. You know, like the guy that was the champ and threw the belt away. But here's the thing. Imagine you're a boxer and you hold 2 belts. Let's just say the WBC and the IBF. And the IBF says you have a mandatory challenger. And the WBC gives you a different mandatory challenger. And neither one of those guys' mandatory challenger is the guy that has the WBA belt. You can't fight the guy with the WBA belt because you got to fight these 2 mandatory challengers instead of fighting a guy that's actually a fucking champion. Like, it's so stupid. Because the IBF's #1 guy is now the mandatory challenger. I don't care about the IBF's #1 guy. This other guy has the fucking WBA belt, and he should be the next guy in line, point blank, period. So shove your fucking mandatories up your ass, and just, you know, it's so frustrating.
Let's
man.
look
Like,
at it, and you know I'm a big Wilder fan, and I've actually just stopped watching his fights because I don't care. I don't, man, and it sucks, right? You saw how big I was in him when he was going to fight for the belt. I'm like, man, this guy seems legit. I just like his style, I like his fighting, and I haven't really cared. Who's he fighting next? Oh yeah, man, that's who he's fighting. And he had Povetkin, which is okay. That was a decent step up there.
Yeah.
And then he gets popped for some crap. Now that fight is gone. What I'm thinking is why wasn't it immediately almost? Oh, new champion Wilder. Next fight will be Wilder versus Klitschko. Or something. Why is it like that, man? That I would have loved to see that.
To me, that whole problem gets eliminated in boxing. You know what? We should just end it because we can. I really want to have this discussion on like a whole podcast to go deep inside. You know, like
and
we'll do that soon.
GI,
when GI comes back, we're gonna do that.
He's the boxing fanatic also. So
yeah, I mean, I want to put it out there because of the fact that I don't think a lot of people really are well versed on the business and politics of boxing, and how each sanctioning body does whatever the hell they want, and you know, we can have this discussion. I mean, this could be like a 2-hour podcast, man. Like, just on that alone, and you know, I'd love to do that. We should definitely do it. Well, you guys should look for it soon. We'll do that.
Just know that when we say that it's essentially this. We just want to see the best fighting the best.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's not just us. It's not just us. Holyfield says it. There was a whole article. You remember the Holyfield article?
Tons of people say it, man.
Pretty much the same thing that you're saying. Tyson is forever saying it. Why he prefers to go to MMA fights over boxing ones because the best are forever fighting the best, and they go in there to give you a show.
Yep.
So many boxers say the same thing, and analysts. This is not just us. We don't hate the sport. We love boxing. I literally love boxing. It's just we're just disappointed at the state of it. It's hopefully, man. Hopefully it changes. Hopefully, because pretty much it's the fans. I mean, we pretty much we can control what happens. As long as we don't buy their crappy pay-per-views or something like that. They're gonna know. Oh man, we have to start making this legit like it used to be.
If the fans stand up and say, you know what, I'm not watching this fight. When Triple G fought what's his face on pay-per-view Lemieux and it sold like 97,000. That's a pretty good start to not paying for something. Like, why do I want to pay money?
And same thing with Pacquiao versus his last one versus Bradley.
Yeah,
complete failure. They lost money.
Yeah, I mean, why? And that's what I'm happy to start seeing that, honestly, you know, because these fat cats in boxing, like the Arams of the world and these guys and the sanctioning bodies and how they charge all these fees and they do all this nonsense. Those guys need to stop. You're rich, okay? You guys are all rich. Forget rich. You're wealthy. You sign checks to boxers, okay? And you see the purses they make, which are in the millions, and you can sign that check out of your own bank account if you wanted to, and they'd be fine. How much money do you really need? Like, come on.
Exactly.
This needs to stop, because what we're seeing now is people won't buy these fights. People are starting to say, I'm not gonna buy it. You're gonna have to cut your budgets for your pay-per-views if you want to make any money. And then guess how it happens? You cut the budget for the pay-per-view. It looks even more B-rated, and that's not what you want. And then people are even less people are gonna buy it. So don't watch, Triple G fighting Dominick Cruz on HBO. Don't watch it.
Not Dominick Cruz.
I'm sorry, Dominick Wade.
My bad. A little MMA and boxing mix-up.
Yeah, Dominick Wade, right?
Dominick Wade.
Don't watch that fight. Like I didn't watch that fight. I refused. I know the outcome before the fight started. I'm not watching it. Not that I wouldn't watch it at all, but I'm not watching it live. I'm not giving you ratings. I'm not even DVRing it, because that still gives you ratings. I'll catch a replay or something, later. Just so that I know what I'm talking about.
You know who says exactly what you're saying right now?
Huh?
And he says it on ESPN all the time?
Who?
Exactly what you're saying. Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
He says what you're saying right now. He says it all the time now.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, that is what will start to change the culture, though. If the fans have to actually do this, though. If they keep watching, and they're fine watching this sub-rate programming, which clearly they're not, because they're not buying it anymore. The ratings are down, and it's just going to get further and further along the line. They're just, I guess the fat cats in boxing are just trying to bleed it as long as they can until they have to change things to some degree. But at some point, they're going to have to change shit. And until they do that, there's a lot to be left desired for the fans in boxing. And we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about all of that. All right?
Because this could go on. We want GI's input also. We want your input also.
Yeah,
send us comments, and we're gonna have to start going through them all, and we're gonna have a section, a fan section, pretty much. We should
talk about it with some of the guys we know that box too. See if we get a Coquito in here, or somebody.
Yeah, they're in the whole boxing world.
To do a discussion on that. I would love to have some more guys that are actually in it right now and working towards things. Because this goes back to even getting into pro boxing, to go from amateur to pro. All that stuff is, is still corrupted in that area. It's crazy. There's so much insanity going on in that, and we definitely should touch on that when GI comes back from vacation. And we'll do an In This Corner episode for it, and we'll just discuss boxing, because I think we have a while before the next UFC pay-per-view after this one anyway. It's not until early July, so we got about a month. So we'll fill it in there. We'll do that.
All right. It is a wrap, guys. Subscribe. Follow us on Fight Rant. We have the FightRant.com. Subscribe to this channel here. Send us feedback. Leave comments. We're gonna do like a fan question section towards the end of the podcast also. So just send your questions, or any topic you want to talk about. We'll talk about also. Follow us on Twitter, and
join the Fight Rant Facebook page. We put up posts on there about stuff too, and definitely subscribe to the channel, guys. And Fight Rant Live is out of here. Enjoy UFC 199. It should be a very good card. Don't pick Michael Bisping in DraftKings, and and last but not least, the most important thing of the day. Rest in peace to Muhammad Ali one last time.
The GOAT.
Bless his family, and the world lost a great man today. So rest in peace on that.
That's Fight Rant. We're out.
We're out of here.